Hi, I'm Mark from the Gently Grown Homestead, and today we're going to talk about the most important tree for your homestead. What it is, why it's so important, and how to plant it. That's all coming right up. All right, so the tree we are talking about, the best tree for your homestead, the best fruit-bearing tree is the mulberry tree. And it is a tree, not a bush. It is very, very easy. It adapts to many climates, many soils. It is high yielding. It will grow and bear fruit for many years, and it will give you a bountiful harvest each year. You will have no shortage of mulberries once your tree is established. This has the best tasting out of the red, white, or blackberries and has the biggest fruit. These grow to 1 to 2 inches each, and the red and white ones tend to be a little bit smaller than that. These berries are very nutritious. They are high in antioxidants. They are also not usually sold in grocery stores because they don't store very long. Some things you should look for when you're buying your transplant for your mulberry tree. If it matters to you, I would say look for the organic label or shop locally and talk to your farmer. Ask if they use any harsh sprays, fertilizers, chemicals, and ask them about their growing process. Also make sure you look for healthy green leaves. This one is starting to yellow. We need to get this in the ground immediately. That's why we're doing this today. If you buy it online, then I would definitely go with organic, since you can't talk to the farmer so easily. And there are two options. One is bare root and one is a potted tree. This is a potted tree. There's soil in there. Bare root trees are just that. You buy them and all you get is a tree with roots. They stay dormant. They're shipped in the spring. They have to be planted in the middle of spring or so. Since I have a potted mulberry tree, I can plant this in the middle of summer and cross my fingers that it's going to last. Also, if you are buying online, you want to make sure you are buying from a similar climate. Don't do like I did and buy from somewhere in Florida. The reason that I did that is because the trees, organic trees specifically, are in short stock right now. And when I saw these, I wanted to grab them before they were gone. They're sold out almost everywhere else I could look. You want to find a spot that is full sun. Although the mulberry tree will bear fruit in partial shade, it's just not ideal. This is actually more of a partial shade area. Once we get to some shoulder season, so we're going to see how this one does with partial shade. Also, know your variety. This is a dwarf variety, which is another reason that I jumped on it. Organic dwarf mulberry trees, not so easy to find nowadays. This will grow about 10 feet wide if I don't prune it at all. All right, now we're going to talk about how to transplant your mulberry tree. First of all, pick a mild day where there are no major weather events coming up. So since I bought this transplant, we've had the remnants of a tropical storm come through. We've had a heat wave. You don't want to plant any kind of new plant like this into the ground when those things are coming up. We finally have a nice mild day below 80 for the next 10 days right now. The forecast says it's going to stay this way. Also want to be a little later in the day. So this is late afternoon now. This is the perfect time. It'll get some sun today, and then it will rest overnight and have all day tomorrow and another mild day to establish itself. So you want to make sure that you find a good spot where it's not going to be in the way of anything or bump into your house or other plants or shade something you don't want within 10 feet of the area. All right, now we're going to dig our hole. What you're going to do is dig a hole that is twice as deep and twice as wide as your current root system. All right, so here's our hole, and I went, you can see now the potted plant you can tell is about twice as deep, and to the sides, even at the bottom, is twice as wide. I could maybe go a little bit bigger. You can't really dig a hole too big, but you can dig one that is not quite big enough for the plants. I also found some gnarly rocks in this. You want to remove any big rocks like this. Any small pebbles are fine. It might actually help with drainage, but these big ones will get in the way of the root system. If you would like to test your drainage, this is when you would put in about a gallon of water into the hole, then walk away and see how quickly it drains. If you come back in an hour and there's still a gallon of water in there, you are going to want to find a different site. All right, so once you've dug your hole, you want to prepare it for the mulberry tree. Do that by first putting some all-purpose fertilizer on the bottom. I like to use azomite as well, which has micronutrients, and organic kelp meal, which plants just seem to do really well with in my experience. So here we go. This is all-purpose fertilizer, azomite, and some kelp meal. Azomite is the white powder. At the bottom, it's just going to help the roots of the tree grow downward and give it nutrients as it is establishing itself in its new site. All right, the next thing you want to do is mix in some well-draining potting soil with the native soil that you took out. If you did have to dig up sod like I did for your hole, get rid of the sod. You can throw it in the compost pile if there's no weeds. If it's riddled with weeds like mine, take it off property somewhere. Okay, so now we have our native soil and potting soil mixed in together to fill in about half the hole. And now if I put my plant on top, I can see it is in good line with the rest of the soil. It will not get flooded. What you don't want is it being too low, because then if it rains or whenever you water it, water will stay at the site. And mulberry trees do not do well with overwatering, so you want to make sure you are at level, maybe a little bit higher even, than the rest of the soil around it. What I'm going to do now is take this out of the pot and put it right where it is and fill the rest of the soil and potting soil right around it. All right, and there you have it, the finished product. I just need to water that soil, and this is Transplanted, our first mulberry tree on the property. I'm going to put in a second one just a little, about 10 feet away, because that's how far these can grow apart. But that is how you plant a mulberry tree. I said before, these were really low maintenance, and I mean it. Just make sure not to overwater it. Hopefully you'll get the right amount of rainwater in your region, and only fertilize once a year. In the spring, do not over fertilize. That'll hurt the plant. That is all you have to do. Establish the plant, and you will enjoy berries, many berries, for many years. And that is it. Please make sure to click the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any new episodes from the Gently Grown Homestead. Thanks. Be well and grow.